guys, what is up? Simsat20 here. Lucas bringing you guys another NHL 17 news or update video, whatever you guys want to call it. First things first, I want to apologize for not uploading a video in the last couple weeks. I have been moving back to college. I'm in my new apartment now. If you guys do want to see a full apartment tour, let me know down below. But I just want to make a quick video giving my thoughts on the NHL 17 ratings they released. So today on Twitter, they did release the top 50 players in NHL 17 and gave full in-game stats. And there's been a lot of controversy. They've been doing position by position for the last week or so now, and there's been some controversy, and I just want to give my thoughts. Alright, so we'll start with the centers. As everyone could probably have guessed, it's Sidney Crosby with the highest rating with a 95 overall, and second place is where there's a bit of controversy and a little bit of my bias, probably. Second best center in the game is 94 overall, Jonathan Toews. That is right. So a lot of people have been hating EA for this, and I really don't know what to say. I mean, he did have a 58-point season last season, so obviously not even a point a game. Obviously one of the better defensive forwards in the league, probably top 3. I'm not going to say he's the best. I think him, Kopitar, Bergeron, and you could probably put a couple others in there, are all probably the same level, and it's just on a year-on-year basis on who's the actual best defensive forward in the league. But Toews is always up there. Now, with 58 points last year, it's obviously a down year for him. His all-time high is 76 points, and that was in 2010. So, I mean, I think that Toews should have been a lower overall, but I understand why they made him such a high overall, because if you do watch Blackhawks games, which I do frequently, he does have an incredible shot when he uses it. He's an incredible defensive forward. You can't really deny that. He's amazing on the draw. He's an all-around player. And when it comes to NHL 17 stats and EA Sports NHL in general stats, that's what's going to boost overall. He has a high offensive awareness and high defensive awareness, and that's what boosts his overall. It's just that. So honestly, I would put him around a 92, maybe a 91 if I'm being completely unbiased, but yeah, definitely don't think Toews should be at the number 2 spot. Alright, the next controversy that was all Twitter was talking about when the goalies got released was the 2 goalies that were tied for the best goalie in NHL 17. It was Jonathan Quick and Carey Price. So I know a lot of you guys are thinking Carey Price deserves it. In my opinion, he does. Even though his season was cut super duper short, thank God I wasted my first round fantasy pick on him. It was cut super short, and he played well in those games. He played like Carey Price, but he did miss majority of the season. He had 20-something games played, and he missed most of the season. Well, Jonathan Quick obviously played the whole season. They're both at a 93 overall, and it's just that I don't think Quick's as good as Carey Price. If anyone should have been tied with Carey Price, it should have been Braden Holtby. Braden Holtby had an unbelievable season. Everyone that watches hockey knows that. And he had a better season than Jonathan Quick. I think most people know that as well. And even last year when the Vezina nominees came out, Jonathan Quick did get the third one. But a lot of people should have said it should have went to Corey Crawford or even Ben Bishop. So, I don't know. I just think that they overrated Jonathan Quick. Alright, so most of the controversy actually came up with the right wingers in NHL 17. The first one that I want to go over is Marian Hossa at an 88 overall and the 8th highest rated right wing in NHL 17. So, Marian Hossa, he's a phenomenal player. He's been in the league for over 10 years. One of the better defensive players in the league as well. Should he be an 88? No, just flat out. I mean, he doesn't produce as much as he used to. He focuses a lot more on his defensive game. And I just don't understand how they can watch him last year, even with the rotating lines that he had to play on with Quenneville, but it just doesn't justify an 88 overall. I was thinking coming into this, Hossa would be around 80. I'd be lucky with an 86. I expected an 85. Just to see an 88 is kind of ridiculous in my mind. He doesn't produce enough to justify that. And another right wing a lot of people had an issue with is Phil Kessel only being rated 89 overall. So Phil Kessel had a phenomenal Stanley Cup playoffs. Most people think he should have won the Conn Smythe. And ended up going to Crosby, obviously, but he played unreal. He had a slow start to the season that everyone knew about, him and Crosby both. But he played unreal this season. It proved that he was the star that he was, even in Toronto, but he didn't get the credit for it. And he is an 89 overall, while a player like Jakub Voracek who had a pretty off year compared to his stats in the last couple years, is at a 1 overall above him at a 90. I just don't agree with that. I think Voracek had an off year, and I think that it's pretty fair to say. He had a super slow start to the year and never fully recovered as much as Phil did. But, yeah, I think that's another big controversy. Personally, I would have put Phil Kessel on a 90. I would have put Voracek at around an 88, 89. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the left wingers in NHL 17. So tied for the highest rated left wingers is at 94 overall. We have Alexander Ovechkin and Jamie Benn. Now, don't get me wrong, Alexander Ovechkin is one of the best pure goal scorers that the NHL has ever seen. I don't think many people can argue that. He probably is the best shot the NHL has ever seen, and he deserves a 94 rating. I firmly believe that. But I also think Jamie Benn deserves it as well. He has 2 80-plus seasons. He won the Art Ross. He's a complete player. He's a penalty killer, power play specialist. He is an amazing player, and I think the 94 rating is just... I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying that he doesn't deserve his shot. He doesn't deserve his defensive awareness that boosts his overall. But to me, I think that's pretty fair, and they did actually a pretty decent job in left wingers. All right, and finally we have the defenseman of NHL 17. And my main issue, it's kind of flip-flops to be honest on Twitter and Reddit and everything, was the person who was tied with Drew Doughty at 94 overall for the top defenseman in the game, and that's Shea Weber, the new Montreal Canadian. I've been a firm believer for about 2 years now that Shea Weber was not the best defenseman on the Nashville Predator. I think the last 2 years, Roman Josi has been a better all-around defenseman than Shea Weber. It's just Shea Weber's slow. He's old. It's how aging works. I just do not understand putting him up at a 94 overall with the likes of Drew Doughty, Erik Karlsson's below him, Duncan Keith's below him, Chris Letang's below him. Chris Letang's not even on the list. That's a different story. But I just think Shea Weber is the thing that boosts his overall, and I understand this, but is his hitting, his physical. Obviously, he's a big body. He's a big hitter. That's what he's known for, along with his slap shot. But I just can't justify giving him a 94 overall, making him the highest rated defense. All right, so now that you guys have heard my thoughts on the pretty big controversy, I don't know if you want to call them that, the issues with the NHL 17 ratings that most people have been complaining about, let me talk a little bit about the ratings in general. So they released the top 50 players, and the lowest rated on there was an 88 overall, if I'm not mistaken. And I think therein lies the issue with the NHL ratings. Every single player here, I saw on Twitter there was 40 plus 90 overalls this year in NHL 17. And obviously these aren't going to be the hot ratings. The hot ratings are going to be a much lower, so they have chances to get milestones, play of the games, and all that stuff. But the fact that there are 40 players rated 90 or over is just ridiculous to me. I think in FIFA, there's less than 15 that are rated 90 or above. And obviously, I know that in FIFA, there's so many more leagues, there's more people to compare them to, and I just don't understand why NHL can't make an executive decision and say, hey, okay, so Sidney Crosby's the best player in the game right now. Instead of rating him a 95, let's put him at a max of 93, because that's what Messi is in FIFA, and put him at a 93 and rank everyone below that according to that. So I just don't understand it. I think it makes... Last year, it made gem mode pretty much useless. If you didn't have at least 86 or higher players on your lines, on all 3 lines, you really had no contest. But I just think that the rating scale needs to be adjusted. And another thing I saw on Twitter as well was that the amount of scouts that EA Sports NHL has compared to FIFA. FIFA has a whole network of volunteer scouts that will scout out their local league and say, hey, this is what I think of this player. And they will compile it and use that when taking ratings into account. With NHL, it's one NHL scout that decides what's everyone's rating. So there's a lot to be done. Personally, this won't really affect me. Obviously, I play HUT for a majority of my gameplay. I dabble in the franchise or GM mode, but for the most part, I'm a HUT guy. So these won't really affect me, but I completely understand some of the outrage with players like Pekka Rinne being a 91 overall after his down season, Jakub Voracek, and even Shea Weber. So I just thought I'd bring a quick little video out here and talk about my thoughts on it. NHL 17 is coming soon. I think it's within 2 weeks now, something like that. So I am excited. Hopefully you guys are ready for some NHL 17 content, because I sure am. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye!